Hey everybody, it's Matt Schmidt here. I wanted to bring you and welcome you to the first AI targeting system call. I got my boy Damien on here with me, and we're going to go ahead and discuss anything you want to. Basically, just pick our brain and basically, what do you want to know? Are there some roadblocks in the course? Are there some roadblocks elsewhere? We want to focus on the course, and then we can talk about stuff outside of it. But this is really your time, and your bonus is a thank you from me to you for investing in the course and sticking with us here. So let's go ahead and get started. I am in the Audience Insight tool. It is up and running. Facebook has not brought it down for right now. And we are going to go ahead and talk. So I want to do one thing for us real quick. If you have a question pertaining to the course, let's go ahead and do a QQQ and then list out your question. If you have anything outside of that, we will have a time for that. But we're going to go ahead. Plenty of you guys on here. Let's get some questions rolling. And then if like a niche you want to dive into, you want to see how I do it or something like that, go ahead. Remember, you do QQQ and then put it out there. Whoa. Brian had one ready to go, ready to rock. Okay. So there has been a slight glitch, or not a glitch, I should say, a slight change in the way that the interest, and I actually just got this. People were sending in a support ticket, and I had not even gotten the new graph search for interests. I don't know about you, Damien, but I just recently I got it like on Christmas morning, and then that's why I sent that charity video out. So let me go ahead and bring this over here.
Yeah, same over here. All those graph search hacks that I knew about, I was trying to get them to work again, and it's kind of it's
slightly different.
Yeah.
It's slightly different, but not that much. So, Brian, I believe that's what you're. I'm going to run through here. So let's go ahead. Damien, keep track of on the questions if you would. I'm on Brian here. So in the graph search here, you're going to still type in interests. Now, the difference is that little flag or whatever that meant for is gone, right? And now it shows the magnifying glass and interests. So you're going to go ahead and type that or search that, and you're going to get this little flag here again with interest right next to it and the See More button. So what they're doing now is they're showing basically a lot of different results. I don't know if you guys have seen it in the news, but Facebook is basically taking aim at replacing Bing within the graph search. Bing used to be a way for you to search on the internet, and now they're going to want to be that in a short while. So this is like the first step in that transition. But to get all the interest again, all I did was hit interest, hit the search on the little magnifying glass, and I hit the See More, and then everything's back up here again. The same thing shows the audience size, the pages. These are all the interest available on Facebook. So that's where it's a slight change. It's still there. You just got to plug away at it a little bit more to find it. So I hope that answers your questions.
Another little way as well, Matt, is when you click on interests and then you go back once, and then instead of clicking on See More, what you do is you click on pages, and you get pretty much the same results as well as interests, because you type in interests, pages, and boom, Darth Vader, South Park, there are all different ones as well.
Yeah, that's great. So and I don't know, I haven't gotten too far into it, what that See More button does versus the pages, but it might include some of these other things. It might be like a concatenated for groups and for other things like that, and just See More. But either way seems to be working.
Yes.
But this is the step one video. Going in, finding your niche. Flip-flops is a niche. Going in here and finding your niche, and probably not a bad route to sell some flip-flops in a Shopify store or something, though, right? And then finding this and going from there, and then going into the Audience Insight tool. And I have to do it. Hold on one second. Flip flops.
So what I'm going to do, everyone, is I'm going to type in the answers at the same time and send it to everybody. So you're going to see on your right-hand side, that box on the right-hand side, under chat, you're going to see always the questions and answers that have been answered already, so that you can keep track of everything. If you missed anything, you just go and scroll back up. So all yours, Matt.
Cool. Okay, so that's the switch on the interest finding. Slight difference. Again, Facebook is constantly going to be updating the way that they present data, the way that they do things, but you can rest assured that we're over here plugging away, spending money, figuring out what's working, and making sure that we'll present. You know, if you're on my email list from this course, I'm constantly going to be sending out videos on the slight changes because they happen. We're playing around in somebody else's ballpark here, and you need to just keep up to it. Keep reading, or keep listening, or keep watching something that keeps you up to date. And you can always plug away and do it yourself as well. So, okay, so looks like the reports tab changed as well. So I believe I have that. I can do something real quick. I see this one right here. Nick is asking about the exclude audience part. Right here, I'm in a PPE ad, the same PPE ad I showed in the course. It's just right down here. You say choose custom audience. Now they have it included right here, but the funny thing is if I just say the Second Amendment, which is just a custom audience that I had created, even if I had it included or excluded, it still seems to be, I have to click over here and say exclude this audience. All I did to do that was kind of highlight it a little bit, and you see this drop-down arrow pop up. You click it and say exclude. So you got the exclude check marked, and that's how you do that. So that's what we want to do from the get-go on our main PPE ad. The reason for that is that you don't want this ad to be shown to anybody that gets to your landing page. The reason for that, and this is for T-shirts, this is for anything, the reason for that is that this ad will always be more expensive than a retargeting ad. And the retargeting ad, you can speak to those people more than the initial person. You can say, why didn't you? What do I always say? It's did you forget to buy? Get yours today. Only 3 days remaining, kind of thing. All right, it's something along those lines that will allow them to. It's more of a trigger, more of a I forgot to buy, instead of this is a brand new thing to me, and that's why you want to exclude them from the original audience. Also, will help the ad perform better over time because it won't have a high frequency. The frequency is the amount of times that your ad is being shown to an individual person. And the higher the frequency, the less performing the ad is. Even into my nurse campaign, where I ran into an audience of 1.5 million people, we still had a frequency raise up over time because you're only excluding with the exclude. You're only doing it to the people who get to your landing page, but eventually there will be the people that see it and don't click on it, get that shown to them again as well. So you're trying to prevent one of the two. You can't really prevent the other one from happening, so you need to prevent as much as you can. I hope that helps, Jeff. No, I'm sorry, Nick. Seems you had another interest question on the graph search. We just talked about that. How to target an alcohol product. If you could elaborate a little bit more on that. So entering the AI tool from the beginning, you just go to your ads manager, and on the left-hand side, the audience insight tool will be there, and you just click on it. It's within your ads manager on the left-hand side by where it says campaigns and a few other things. Please show me how to enter. can you address how to find low cost per engagement during your process? What do you think on that one, Damien? What's he trying to...
Let me see, because I'm trying to write in the answers at the same time. So what was that one?
How to find low cost per engagement during a process.
How to decrease the cost per engagement. In this case, is what we've always said and will repeat over and over again until it sticks. It's you need to get the proper targeting with that proper message. So it's the right product to the right audience with the right marketing message. So that means when all those components get together and create that marketing bomb, your CTR is going to be pretty much higher than anybody else. Facebook is going to reward you with lower cost per engagement, lower cost per clicks, or cost per action, and that's how you decrease the cost per engagement. But you really need to get those previous parameters or those previous factors in place, which is the right product to the right audience with the right marketing message, which means your targeting needs to be right, your ad image and ad message or ad copy needs to be right, just as Matt showed you in AI targeting system, and also, and then the right, the right product, which is having that right T-shirt in front of the right people, which will make them resonate.
Yeah, and I also think he might have like making sure that you're identifying what a low cost per engagement is, or maybe out of your ad set. The main cost per engagement driver and indicator is on your ad here. I'm just within an ad set, and again, this is the old format, but the reason I'm showing this to you is that I just wanted to show you that right here, your cost per engagement for this ad, or my cost per engagement for this ad, was 9 cents. So that's my cost per engagement. So of these guys right here, we got 2 9 cents. Doesn't look like this one ever got any volume to it, and then 2 11 cents. And this is after scaling, and you can see how much money I spent. But that's your indication, in case that's what you were asking. Like, what's your how do you find that? What do you look for there? So hopefully that helps you. And let's keep going. Into the running niche. Okay, so now we got a niche we can go dive into. Let's go ahead and see what running. So running, the one thing about this niche right off the get-go is because I've tried to do shirts in this niche. The one thing is that you got to remember that this niche is full of, if this is for T-shirts at least, I don't know what you're selling, but if you're trying to sell T-shirts into the running niche, this is full of Nike, Under Armour, and all the big guys selling ultra dry fit, all these different high cost shirts, and nobody really wants to run, especially a person passionate about running, probably not going to run anymore in a T-shirt. And that's just kind of the way it is. Now, Teespring and a couple other sites do offer the dry fit Gildan. Not the same thing as an Under Armour, but I've had better success with that into the running niche than I have with a T-shirt. And because they spend a lot of money on that stuff. So they know that they want, anybody passionate about it knows that they want the dry fit stuff. So what I would do here is we're in the running niche. The niche is massive, so probably want to get a lot more narrowed down than this to really find people that are the passionate people. You can see that the affinity, now I'm just on the page likes tab, going down to my page likes just like we showed in the course. You got electric run. I'm guessing that's some kind of like specific run. You got pretty low affinity though. So what we're going to need, so this is like one of these special types of runs where people, they run in a certain type. I've done it with like a Halloween costume on before. And stuff like that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So what I would look right here is for the first place I would go is like a magazine or something. Differentiate yourself from this stuff where it's like the Spartan race and all these the Black Light Run. These are all like things that people not entirely serious about running would do. And you just got to know the niche a little bit, or do your research and say, what's this Black Right run? It's going to look a whole lot like the last one. Not a lot of super passionate people, I would think, are going to do this versus people that are just trying to paint themselves and go running. So Runner's World, I know, is a pretty specific magazine about running, and that's really what you're going for in this. So I would go back and immediately take out running and do Runner's World. Take out running. Now we have immediately jumped up quite a bit, and we're getting some longer tail keywords. This is probably even a better interest to go for than Runner's World. It seems to be the same thing, but let's go ahead and...
Man, I freaking love this strategy, man. It just absolutely blows me away how many good keywords come up here.
Yeah, so check this out. Now we have a longer tail keyword that, longer, that's just a phrase I borrowed from my days in SEO. You got a longer tail keyword, and now the affinity is through the roof, right? And it's not about all the stuff that I click on here. It's not going to be Spartan Run where the guy, or not to bash those things, but those aren't what you're looking for, unless that's what you're looking for. But those are like fun, specific, stuff that anybody can join up to and anything. If you're looking to sell, runner shirts or Nike Dry Fit running shirts or that super tight spandex looking stuff that runners run in, this is the kind of niche keywords that you should be going for. Competitor running is probably, it's all about, look at this. This is just, there's runners in the title, there's people in the running here. Everything is about running. These are probably even, and these just seem to be articles. But this is the kind of stuff that you want to go after. And it only took really 3 layers down. So we did running, which is just super general, found that Runner's Magazine, or Runner's World, and then realized that there's Runner's World Magazine, which has a huge following as far as magazines go. And you got plenty of stuff down here with incredible affinity. I say 13 and above for your affinity, and we got things with 151, 191, 123, and I think we got your answer there. All right. So we got a question about ClickBank products. I did a interview with Don about ClickBank's products. I am no expert on what it takes to be Facebook compliant, and so I cannot speak to that. I know there's things like you can't have a exit pop, and there's other things that Facebook will require you to do to sell direct traffic to a ClickBank product within their TOS. So I can't really speak to that, but the traffic aspect of it and the ads aspect of it is the same for whatever you want to sell. Say if you had, we did the Paleo, sorry, not Paleo. Paleo is a graph, but paleo is that food style, food diet. And I think I started with like Paleo Mom. The way I didn't really know anything about this niche, so I said, if you ever don't know anything about this niche, if you did not see this interview, a cool way to really get your head into the niche real quick is to say pages named Paleo. So pages named it, you're going to quickly get some pages that show up that have Paleo in the title. So what I would do here, and we just followed what Damien had said, got into the pages, and now we have all these different Paleo recipe, and I would find the biggest one, which I think was this Paleo Mom, and you can pop it open, make sure it's exactly what she's got 2 books, it looks like, doing some giveaways, pictures of paleo stuff. Now I would go back over here, I already did it, but Paleo Mom in the title, in your interest, and then start the same thing again, and looking at the demographics, and then coming back over here, you can start to see that it looks like, well, at least this page at least, if you're going to follow this trail, looks like women are you're going to be your target. And then you got tons of other stuff that you can go in here and use. If you don't want to use her interest, you can go in and find something here that is better suited to get into your interest. So there's tons and tons of paleoaholic, eat real food.
In fact, paleo is paleo.
Yeah, you
is
probably know this better than me.
That niche is insanely powerful, like to monetize, and it's people go nuts over this because it's a rabid buyer's niche. Now, if we can do anything good for a T-shirt, I don't know, but there are good recipe books. There are other products that you can sell, but for sure you can always find good angles to actually talk to these people and sell them a T-shirt on Paleo. There is certainly something creative that we can think of, and these guys will buy that.
Yeah, and I mean, check out just doing it. I don't know anything about the niche, just from my slight experience of doing a little search and then going back in here. Look at all this: Paleo Leap, Paleo OMG, Paleo Magazine. Probably a huge one to start with if you wanted to plug that in. The interest, Everyday Paleo. It all got Paleo in it, and these are great interests for you to go after. So whether you're selling on the end of this a T-shirt or a ClickBank product, the targeting is the same. So you found your interest to use, because this is about the traffic that you want to tie to your ad. Then the ad set structure still, again, is always the same. Like for this, I would do some kind of like delicious looking paleo meal and say, like, do you want to cook paleo meals like this? Learn more here. And then I would direct link that to the ClickBank product within terms of service that sells a paleo recipe book. And so that's how easy it is. I mean, the traffic, whether it's a ClickBank product, a CPA offer, whether it's an opt-in form, it all is the same, because you're just understanding who is the target audience for you within Facebook and how to point them in the right direction. Sorry for that. How to target Facebook marketers. I've tried to find an audience for Facebook marketers for some reason. Some Facebook software I am releasing. Well, I know the way they used to be able to do it, but I can't do that anymore. So you're looking for Facebook marketers like us, or people who advertise for... I guess I'd have to know exactly who your target audience is. Internet marketers, people in corporations who are in their, in the advertising firm. Could you expand on that one a little bit, and we'll come back to you? Are any FB ads not running these days? I'm not sure. My ads are running. Damien's ads are running. Yeah. I haven't heard anybody else having problems. We're slowing it down for the end of the year right now, and then we're doing some adjustments on where we're sending our traffic. But other than that, the ads are working fine. Do you target international audiences much? No, I know plenty of people that make a killing, though, going overseas. The Audience Insight tool works the same way. All I have to do is pop out that and say something like United Kingdom. You're never going to have as many people, obviously. I think as far as Facebook goes, I think that Facebook has, the United States has the largest audience of Facebook available. I may be wrong on that. I'm just thinking of countries that are bigger in size, like India and China. And I believe India has 200 million people as well as us. And then China, of course, you cannot target. So it's just that simple. Traffic works the exact same way. You could do nursing here and go down the exact same route. You're going to have some different things. Healthcare worker tax rebate sounds like something that they have in the United Kingdom that we might not have here in the United States. But yes, Audience Insight tool does work and does have data on other countries as well. And we're going to start selling some shirts overseas too. I'm building a team for that. I'm in the UK and having trouble finding Facebook graph search. I've changed to English US. Damien, you could definitely help me on this one. Sam Phillips is asking about how to get the graph search when he lives overseas.
Yes, so you're in the UK. So the first thing you got to do is just go on that little arrow at the top right, and that show there under settings. You have to change it to US English. That is the thing I did at my when the graph search was in the US and had never reached the European countries. And then all my students that are in Europe as well, just by changing that under that language settings under the settings, and if you can just change your location as well, if it doesn't activate for you, just change as well the location. As you guys know, I have San Diego, even though I live in Canaries, but it's also to see US ads because I want to keep an eye on the market. But at the same time, this way I'm always getting everything at the same time. Everybody in the US gets it. So that is the strategy there. And if you haven't applied for graph search yet, then and yes, he says, I'm in the UK having trouble finding Facebook graph search. I've changed to English US. Okay, change your location, and I don't know if you already applied for graph search under facebook.com/graph search. Let me see what his reply is. Okay, thank you. Okay, perfect. So it's answered. Yep, he just gave the thank you, so it's good.
Yeah, and I actually had a few people ask about that. So if you could, and I'll make sure it's outlined in the recap of this.
Let me put it in the answers as well to everybody.
If you, you just shoot it out to everybody. Maybe like a step, make sure so you're saying the location that you're registered under as well as the English US is both important.
Yes. So apply for a grant. I'm typing it in. So let's go to the next one.
I think it's hilarious that you do San Diego too on a personal note, just because if you're not going to be surfing in your actual town, I know you're going to be surfing in your virtual town.
For sure. I did it because when I was traveling through the entire U.S., that was the state that I liked the most. It was.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So it was full of people that are into internet business. It's the location and kind of the latitude is kind of the same. Same latitude as Canaries. So the weather is kind of the same. There are waves. It's sunny. Nightlife is amazing. There is a lot of culture there, so definitely the place I would go to.
Yeah, it's like a paradise on the continental United States. I understand your point.
Yeah.
If you want to ever come to St. Louis, let me know. I mean, we got plenty of surfing on the mightiness. Yeah. So, okay.
I go there and I kidnap you to San Diego. That's what.
Yeah. I might be going to San Diego here in February, though.
For traffic and conversions, right?
Yeah, TNC.
Yeah, we'll see each other there.
Awesome. When I inserted my T-Stream conversion pixel from my FB ad, it says it is unverified. Is that normal? Greg, that is because you haven't had a conversion on it yet. Unverified means that it's a brand new pixel. That is perfectly normal. Once it fires and Facebook updates, fires as in you convert somebody, and Facebook updates, it will show verified. So you should be good to go after that. What other resources do you use except Pinterest to find new design ideas? How would you how would you select an idea if you don't have likes, pins, or social proof? Thanks. Okay. Somewhere easy to go is eBay. There's a form of social proof on eBay that not a lot of people know about. So let's go with nurse t-shirt. Love my nursing niche. Hopefully so here, check this out. This is a pretty famous, actually, another guy that came up with this design. But you can see a form of social proof on here. If you can't see it right away, all you got to do is look right over here. 323 sold. So if you were thinking about this as in terms of a Teespring campaign, and you saw a Teespring campaign with 323 sold, you might start thinking about how to model that design, right? And come up with something unique off of it. So that's a form of social proof that was pretty easy. And I believe Amazon does the exact same thing. As another resource I go to. Amazon is the largest shopping center for anything. You can find pretty much whatever you want on the site. You can see I just bought myself a new you can see I bought myself a new chair, so it's showing me chairs. So nurse t-shirt. Same thing pops up, of course. 7 customer reviews is going to be a way of that, a way that's social proof. So let me go back. Let's see if I can't get a ranking. It'll be great too. You could find people who have, here's 18. The fact that they have people that come back and review it and it's good is a good indication that people like the shirt. So that's another way for you to find social proof. Because I've bought, and I hope nobody doesn't like me because I say this, but I have bought so much stuff off of Amazon, and I have never reviewed one thing. So the fact that people like it enough to come back here and then review it it speaks a lot for the shirt, right? So those are the couple resources that I go to. Of course, you have your teespring.com/discover. You have what's the other one? The Fatograph.
Let me see. I'll tell you some resources I have.
TV.Fatograph. Yeah, go for it.
I have some. I have bookmarked a ton of them for our team and so on to find inspiration there. So let me see on the research, design concept. Okay, Pinterest. We have Teespring. Then we have Sunfrog Shirts itself. Sunfrog Shirts has a search bar at the top. So you can go and search for any niche right in there as well. So if we can see that one, it's amazing. It's a very powerful one because Sunfrog Shirts is a t-shirt platform. So the best ways where you can find inspiration for niches and designs and everything is right there under other t-shirt platforms that are not Teespring itself. So you're going to find a ton of them. You have the categories right there on the left, and you can see all the niches. And also, if you type in whatever keyword you want, you're going to have a ton of ideas for t-shirts that you can run. And then then we have Zazzle, we have Screened.com, if you can type those in so they can see that. Let me see.
What is it?
Screened, SKREENED, no, with a K, yes.
Oops.
EENED.com.
Google found it for me.
Yeah.
I think this one's brand new for me.
Yeah, this one is amazing. This is one of our secrets. So you guys, here you have it, and just type in, go on the search little icon up there, and type in, for example, math, or type in chemistry, or type in nursing, and you'll see. Let's see amazing ideas here. So like for him, by party I mean teach math. There is one of the scalable concepts.
It's funny.
I love and your math, grow up and solve your own problems. There you go. That's another one. So and like that, you can type in any niche that you want, or you can just go and under the categories, under men's, you click on men's and you see the categories they have already as t-shirts. Yes, like right there. Yeah, you just go through all these t-shirts and you'll find what they're talking about, what target market are they going after. So, and that will give you an idea for a niche you can go after. Because if there is stuff being sold already on the other sides, if they have it on their side, it means it's selling. It means it's there because they have done the research and they're getting their sales or they're getting that good engagement with these t-shirts. So they did the work for you. Just go, take that work, take that research they did on the niche or on the design, and make your own stuff. So
cool.
Go out.
All right, so
Matt, I'll have to hop off for just 2 minutes because I gotta do a very important call. I'll be back in just 2 minutes.
More important than this call, Damien.
No, crazy bank stuff. So my mafia boss just told me I gotta pay some bills or my family will get. No, okay, just kidding.
There's a mafia surf club. All right.
So yes, I'll be back.
All right. So what suggestions do we have about finding graphic designers to design T-shirts? Do you outsource to the Philippines? About how much should one expect to pay per shirt design? So this is a very, very vast subject, and I will try to summarize it. But again, I'm teaching a whole course on this as well, and it's pretty extensive. But finding graphic designers, I go to a website called Odesk. People can do it off of Fiverr. I know a guy that made like $130,000 or something off of Fiverr designs, but at the same time, it was a very simple design that he had got scaled. If you want a good designer that is available for you for anything, complex or easy designs, go to Odesk and get somebody on a contract. Odesk has competitors as well. I just focus on Odesk. I pay my designer $20 an hour, but you don't have to pay him that much, but you pay for what you get. Now, my theory is that, a designer who I pay $20 an hour, and I've proven this, can give me 4 designs in that hour. So theoretically, I'm paying her $5 an hour. She's so good at her craft and so good at designing, she's worth the money of $20 an hour, but she's so good that she can also make 4 designs in an hour. So I'm still paying that Fiverr price with a person that is quality enough to do that, amount of work in an hour. So that's what I pay. Don't underpay. Always make the designer probably the top paid or second to top paid person if you have like a project manager or something on your team. Designers you can do all the targeting in the world, but if your designer isn't there, then it's not going to be worthwhile for you. Yes, Nick, I saw that. Okay, we're going to go over reporting here in a minute. Budget of 20 to 30 initial. Yes. So I have a question on, Rick is asking about $20 to $30 initial spend, tell you if the ad is working. Yes. You really need to, there's a couple things that, we've discussed this in the course. $20 is what I spend on my initial ad set. So if I have one ad set, I'll spend $20. In the course I talked about you could do this for $5. But generally what you need to do is I aim for at least to see if an ad will convert for the value of the shirt. So the value of the shirt is $20, which a lot of us sell our shirts for. Then I need to see if it'll convert for that. PPE ads are tricky in the sense that sometimes they snowball, where engagement doesn't, engagement's solid and then you don't get a sale and through that $20. That's when you need to review your engagement. Are you getting cheap cost per clicks? Are you getting comments like, I want to buy this, or tagging of friends to buy it? Because eventually it could pick up. So you really need to understand your audience, see what they're saying. And I know that's a general statement, but at the same time, it's really, I have to be general because there are so many different circumstances that can happen. So that's what you want to do there. So we had a question about affinity. So when you layer down and get a higher affinity, what is actually going on there? Is this because people like both the topic and the fan page, or is there another way to understand? So let's go back to the, do I still have this? Let me pop back on. United States. So we're in nursing right here. So I'm in the page likes tab. We're looking at affinity, and we got a question on what's actually going on. So you have the general business and industry interest of nursing. And nursing, the reason that it's so big, there's 8 million nurses in the United States, right? There's 8 million nurses, well, last time I looked, but yet there's 10 to 15 million active people on Facebook that are thrown into this nursing audience. So the reason for that discrepancy is that there's what's called likes by association. And if my mom's a nurse, if she puts something on Facebook about her being a nurse and it has the word nurse in it and I like it, I might be thrown into this audience by Facebook to have an ad presented to me about nursing, of anything that falls under the nursing interest. If somebody was showing an ad, which I don't recommend you doing. So that's why there's a like by association. Facebook has a way of growing their reach and finding new people through social sharing, comments, likes, and so on and so forth. And what we're doing is understanding that the affinity is how likely is it that somebody who likes Mighty Nurse to like and be a part of nursing? Well, it's 5.8 times more likely that somebody who likes this likes nursing than it is for the average Joe person. So the higher the affinity, the more likely that the person who likes said interest down here, said page, is going to be falling into that nursing niche. And when I layer it down, so if I picked up and I support nurses, I've now taken an interest that is highly associated with nursing, and now I'm finding interests that are highly associated with that interest. So you're layering down with it and following a logical path that said, if somebody likes nurse.com, as obviously very much associated with I like support nurses because you have a very high affinity, that person is logically associated through the affinity ranking to nursing. So that's where that logic comes in, and that's why you always want to go for the higher affinity without suffering, your page audience size. And this works for big niches or small niches because it really comes down to Facebook being able to gather the data on it. The one thing that happens in small niches is that you'll start to see other stuff get associated in here. And like a Walmart will pop up or something like that. So you just have to understand exactly what you're putting in here, and don't put something that's crazy into your ad just because it shows up here. But if it looks like it's associated, these are all highly associated. These are the interests that I did with that Nurse Prayer shirt and sold 3,400 of them. And it's just right here. And they all have a very strong affinity ranking. They're all, yes, some of these, like Mighty Nurse was on the last one, but you're proving it to yourself, and you're proving it, and you're following the data to prove to you that that is a targeted niche and a targeted interest to go after. You're not just assuming it because it shows up on the first one without having that affinity show you. And time in and time out, the affinity will tell you targeted interest. Damien's had success with it. I've had success with it. We have people that are getting results with it in the lab and other groups within, hours of implementation. And everybody's having good success with it. So just let this show you the way to go here. Cool. We're getting a lot of people having questions. I keep getting the interests page.
So, Matt, where are we? What questions, so I can keep track? Because I'm back.
I'm looking at Wayne's question.
Barbara. Okay, right.
I keep getting the interest page, not the list. I'm not sure what that means. So.
The interests. I keep getting the interests.
Is there any explanation of why interests show up in the order that they do? Is it based off what? I have never seen I have never seen an explanation. I have no idea. It's very random, and I've searched.
In fact, it's different. It's different on your end and mine, so it's
Right. It's got to be based off of something, but I've never seen like, and not even like John Loomer or anybody like that has ever had an explanation given to them. But that's not a big deal because you could, if it is random, then hopefully you get to see new niches, right? If it was the same ones every time, then that wouldn't be too much fun. Brian says it works. Thanks, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Just started the training last night, and we'll finish it today. But I have to say, just some of the okay. So Deborah says, I just started the training last night, and we'll finish today. But I have to say that just some of the tips I learned in Chapter 1 make your course worthwhile. Cool, Deborah. Thank you. Appreciate that. There will be a replay for this, pending my computer doesn't blow up. When you first launch a shirt and break it out into different age groups, mobile, desktop, how long would you wait per ad set before you turn it off? Do you base it on reach? Example, 100 people? Or, well, what we talk about in the course is we talk about cost per engagement and obviously conversion. You have a PPE ad which is optimized for page post engagement. So what's an important metric for you to follow is the cost per engagement. So I like to do anything, 10 or below, 10 cents or below per engagement is kind of my cutoff. Obviously, if at the end of the day, it really does not matter how much the cost per engagement is if I'm converting. I could have a $1 cost per engagement. If I'm converting at $1 per ad spend, then obviously I'd keep that running. But you need a good metric right off the bat and what you want to monitor. You want to spend through your test budget because you're going to let Facebook optimize. You're going to let them give your audience a chance to see it. So if you have a $20 test budget, you spend through that. Then review your cost per engagement. Is it below 10 cents? If not, if it's at 20 or something, kill it unless it has conversion. And is it converting at a reasonable rate for whatever you're selling? So for a shirt, for example, if your profit per shirt is $10, right off the bat, I want to be converting for like a $5 to $6 range or lower. But that would be like the ceiling, because once you start putting more money into it and start raising your budget, the more likely that you're going to convert at a higher rate per shirt, just based off of Facebook's tendency to reach out your ad to other people. Hope that helps. Winston says, I found one niche that really that has really good social and general interest in it. It is 2 million, but under page likes. The page have high affinity, but the audience has 1,000 people in it. I got Winston, could you rephrase that? I know it's really tough for me to follow.
Let's see, I found one niche that has really good section. Okay, Winston sent me this per email today as well, so let me read it from the email. Yes, I found one niche that has really good social and general interest. Is 2 million, but under page likes. The pages have high affinity, but audience is only 19,000 people when I copy and paste to check potential reach. So I should only choose niches under sub-niches that have more than 100K audience. Yeah, so like Winston, we like to go after after niches that have a potential reach of over 250,000 at least, to be able to segment a little bit and to be able to have scaling potential at the point where when it needs scaling. Because if you're making profit and you want to scale up and you only have 10,000 people in that audience, it's not going to be worth your while. Now, if you have 250,000 or more, like 500 or 1 million, as Matt teaches, then definitely it's going to be very worth your while. You'll be able to scale big and fast as well, and make much more profit from the same work already. Okay, so really aim to go after niches or interests, better said, after interests that have at least 250,000 in total when you're putting them together in one ad set.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so what up, Red Fox? Tracy, yes, I did see your question, but there is just a ton of questions coming in, so we're working through them as fast as we can. Robert, the same thing. Seeing your question, just lots of questions coming in. For the AI targeting system for local business, how would you target people looking for a dentist? I doubt that they are interested in a dentist. Is Facebook not the right platform? Is Facebook the right platform for your business, in your opinion? If you're looking for someone with dental, somebody that's, I mean, we're going to have to mind shift here. This is really about selling physical products, because that's going to be what somebody's interested in. I used to do stuff for local business. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think on that, because you're not. I mean, nobody's going to be interested in a dentist. If you're just trying to get more leads for the dentist, yeah, I would almost do. I don't know, man. What are you thinking?
Because I'm looking, first of all, for offline businesses, brick and mortar, it's always better Google AdWords traffic. That's the first thing. But secondly, if you're looking for somebody that is in the need of a dentist right now, that is going to be freaking difficult to target.
Yep.
Now, to find people who are into taking care of their tooth, or their teeth, I mean, taking care, like being healthy mouth-wise and so on, then that is targetable. You can just go after interests of people, like specific products that people use that are just for those that are a little bit more anal about being healthy with their teeth, and like specific toothpaste. Are there any specific high-end toothpastes out there that are not sold in the supermarket but in the pharmacy, like those that are more related to really like taking care of your teeth?
Right.
That would be some people that are might be potential buyers or potential leads for a dentistry. And the same thing if people like what could it be, that toothpaste, then
yeah, I mean, really the problem is that it really depends on what you're doing for that local business, like you said. I mean, if you need somebody who has a toothache and needs to go see the dentist, you need to be focusing on AdWords.
Yes.
Or ranking like a video. I used to do video ranking for like emergency numbers or something like that for lead generation, like emergency dentist in St. Louis. So Google's really a better place for that, because nobody's going to be searching Facebook for a dentist when they need a dentist.
Yes.
So let's keep going here. Thank you, Sam. Finding a niche seems to be the most difficult for me. Other than using interest, how do you find a niche? Do you ever use trending or something like that? Well, anything trending is not going to really be a niche. You're going to have to figure out. You could definitely do stuff that's trending, but what we're showing you is sustainability. There's no reason that you need to look elsewhere when Facebook will literally show you every single interest that it has available for you. Doing that, I mean, I think the problem is maybe, Deborah, that you have to learn how to just pick one and run with it. At my peak before Christmas, we had 82 campaigns up at one time, and not a lot of them crossed over into another niche. The same niche, I should say. So we had 82 independent campaigns, or 80 independent campaigns up. The reason that we're able to do that is that we don't ever get attached to a niche. We pick a niche. Does it work? Does the design work for it? Then we try it out. And usually, if we, at this point in time, we're getting pretty good at it. So there's no reason to look elsewhere. There's so many niches in that interest tab. I don't know what else do you need to find a niche. Can you do a case study as we go through the training for a niche from start to finish, so we know everything you do to succeed? Robert, the case study is already there, right? I mean, there's in the nurse case study in the course, I showed you the interests, which are sitting in front of you right here now. The design, I showed you where I got it off of Pinterest. And then the ad setup, the reporting, and we step through day by day. That's all you need to do. There's not, I mean, and then we talked about the engagement on the ad, how I used re-engage on it, and a couple other things that are all discussed. I mean, that from start to finish is all you need. Was webinar be recorded and sent to us? I'm going to put it in the members area and let everybody know that it's there. David asked about the Paleo product. Can you please elaborate a bit more on that one too? We talked about the interest. Again, the product itself, I'm not a master of ClickBank, direct to ClickBank, so I can't really recommend that you do that without somebody like listening or talking to somebody else who knows how to direct link to a ClickBank product. But the traffic and the ads is all the same, like we showed. Would you like to see an example of lawyers targeted through AI or something general like grandparent? Well, we can definitely do the lawyers. Let's go with law school. See what comes up here. Hold on. Let's go with. I need to do a little search. Let's do pages named lawyer.
Exactly. That's the part that I was trying to figure out with this new graph search, and it's a little bit. Go to pages then. It does show up. Yes, it does show up. Yes.
Trust me, I'm a lawyer. I mean, and another cool. Let's see. Job titles, I wasn't hoping that was going to show up, but...
maybe solicitor or...
they're definitely not called that here.
No, barrister.
No.
No, that's just UK, right? It's just English.
Law firm, how about law firm? This is literally how I do it sometimes. You just kind of see it, when you see it over the shoulder like this for me, this is, I just sit here and look at it and try to figure it out. Transamerica. I'm going to try to find something that's, Damien, check the bottom here and see if anybody pops in, because I feel like sometimes when I'm on these calls, somebody will be like, oh, you need to try this word.
Yes, exactly. We're like scrolling down. Exactly. Attorney. Exactly. Mark just told attorney is a job title that you can go for.
See, they never pop up. Let me see.
I know that you show up when you're creating the ad, but
oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. And they should start adding fields of study into the audience insights, man. That's should be powerful.
Yeah, I mean, really, if we're trying to do it through this method, I probably need to get some work done. But a job title and the ads manager would be a good place to start. I would go more demographic work, job title, attorney at law.
There you go. That's the one. Actually, it was Jeff that told us attorney at law, but it seems like in audience insights there's nothing showing up for that. Now,
no, they're definitely in that section. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely do it. It would just be about finding like the long tail Latin keywords or that only somebody, or like the things that they study. But this is the job title search. This is where I would definitely start off in finding people. I mean, you see it. I just popped in got 16,000 people. You probably even could go under
with the fields of study, which is some really powerful stuff.
Field of study, yeah.
No,
so fields of
studies under education.
Yeah.
fields of study. So yeah, there's a tip, guys. Just go into that more demographics drop down and make yourself familiar with
Yeah,
that.
check that out.
There is so much gold in there that you can just go when you're doing your niche research. Go into the more demographics and look in there and see. Okay, I might be able to do a T-shirt on college graduates or on any specific field of study or any, and you can see what Facebook gives you as a way to target, as a possible targeting option. Then therefore you're doing it from the reverse way. You're doing it the reverse way. You first look into what Facebook allows you to target, and then you choose the niche based from there. That's some powerful stuff that gives you a lot of ideas.
Field of study right there got me 320,000 people for law. So that gives you a good possibility. Now, if you go over here and do 24 and above, where they would graduate, there's 300,000 people there. I don't know if that's when you graduate with a law degree, but I'm assuming around that time. So, and then grandparent is household composition. Last time I saw this and talked about this, I had not had this rolled out to me yet. We literally sat on, if you remember that, Davian, we literally sat on a call and somebody said, no, it's under demographic and there. And I'm like, see, all parents.
Yes.
He had it underneath. He had like a grandparent there, and I don't have that. But
yeah, exactly. Remember that? Yeah. And I was actually, today I was looking for that one, and I was like, I remember there was something about grandparents at some point.
Right.
But it was.
And then, an easy thing to do here, though, as well, and I heard that's working very well for grandparents, is to do all parents,
and then
all, and then under, if you're doing a grandma, then I would do, 50 and above, which is general. You're just being a general statement, but at the same time, that it gives you a likelihood that they're a grandparent more than somebody that's below that age. Now, a thing that I would do is, now you have 13.6 million people. I would add in an interest and do like a nurse grandma shirt, not just like a nurse shirt. I'm sorry, not just a grandma shirt. So let's keep going.
We have a lot of questions still coming.
How to make money with how to make money with ClickBank products. I can't, and we're going to go through them as much as we can. We got another 50 minutes here, but we'll go through as many as we can. I can't. Again, we talked about ClickBank products the same way, same targeting. Just do your research on the rules and regulations. How do you go about developing a T-shirt design and graphics for the design? Say accountants. So you should already have basically a niche in mind before you're going in and building an ad. So you select the niche, and then I would go over to Pinterest, I would go to eBay, I'd go to all the stuff like that we discussed in the course, and then find a shirt to model. Go to your designer that you should have in place, or you need to go get in place. Then make sure that they are developing you a shirt, and you get it, and it's ready to go. This is that kind of production flow stuff that you need to have set up for you. You're not going to create an ad until you have a shirt that's finalized to advertise for. So you get your design back from your designer, you post it onto Teespring and launch it, and then you go ahead and drive traffic to it. Do you ever use Perfect Audience for retargeting? I don't use it. Teespring does its own retargeting for you, so does Viral Style. So there you go. CPA products, not gonna. I mean, the same thing. Make sure that it's compliant with TOS for Facebook, and then going from there, driving the traffic to it the same exact way. My main question, and then we got next question. Michael says, my main question today: how much money do you want to spend in the original ad, and what sized audience is optimal? Follow up with, how do you decide to kill or promote it? We talked about this a couple times. I spend $20 on an ad set for a test. You can spend $5, $10. $20 is not the golden rule. $20 is what I prefer because it's generally the value of one shirt. I like to convert two for $20. If I know I convert two for $20, I've made twice the money back of my spent, right? I'm sorry.
So this is one
Yeah.
question, Matt, that I received from a student today asking about your course, and he was asking, like, do you test first of all $20 general, like open demographic, and then you start segmenting, or do you start segmenting as you taught in the course right away from the beginning?
So if I am in a brand new niche, um, or in an experienced niche, you can do either one. It's really about what you want to spend. So you can segment, say you segment male, female, mobile, and desktop. If you do $5 each on that, that's only $20 total.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the amount of money that you're willing to spend. How confident are you in your design, and how knowing how do you know the niche is going to buy from you? How say it like that? Like I
Mm-hmm.
know I could hop into the nurse niche, no problem, and make a bunch of money with it because I have the targeting honed down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more willing to spend more money on that. But I might have more capital than whoever asked that question. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to make sure that you're comfortable spending. You're only spending what you're comfortable spending. If it's $20 and you have 4 ads, then spend $5 each, and just get that initial data up, and only scale when appropriate. If you're
So
willing
in
to do
this
the $20, yeah, if you're willing to do the $20, it's going to give you a better idea right away than the $5 would, because $5 is not a whole lot of traffic, but it is enough to tell you if it's going to be generally a good idea to go forward with or not.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So have you ever done like what I taught in the T-Profits recipe, which is you start with $20 completely broad from 25 and above, and male and female, and then you look for $20 or 30 or 40, and then you see what the data gives you, and then you go and segment just as you taught in AI targeting system.
Yeah, no, I mean I have done that before, but we generally stick with based off audience size. Like I won't run a general ad into 1 million people.
Yeah, okay.
So that if I'm doing the targeting, I'm generally going to get a huge targeted audience of hundreds of thousands of people. And again, like I taught in the course, anything in the 500,000 range, I would probably segment the platform. Anything above that 500,000 range, I'm going to start segmenting, the gender, etc.
Yes.
And so I do that on the forefront because I know that male and female respond differently to a shirt, or mobile and desktop definitely respond differently to a shirt.
Yes,
And so yeah.
in fact, we've seen, and you've seen that a lot as well. It's mobile buys a lot. So if you guys
Oh
don't
yeah.
shoot yourself in the foot just by putting desktop, because really mobile is a big portion in many niches. You also need to, when you're doing your niche research, when you're going into the audience insights tool, apart from seeing that those demographics, and also seeing also researching the interests you're going to target, you also need to think about your target audience. Are they people that are going to be more technology savvy, or are they people that are going to be pretty much sitting in front of the computer when they are online? So, and just to put an example, people that are outside, like nurses, many nurses they have their phone on them while they're working, and while other people are in their office and they're on a desktop while they're working. So you got to think about that as well. And most of the times during the optimization step, you'll see that it actually is congruent with what you thought about in the first place when you thought about the audience you're going to be targeting. So just make yourself that image of who you're targeting so that you know better how to talk to them and what ad is going to convert better. But of course, before making or drawing conclusions, it's always first segmenting and testing, just as it was taught. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Steve says no sound. It sounds like everybody else has sound though, so just try to have that fixed by logging in and logging back on. Matt, you say that you don't display the price. Don and Damien seem to. Damien, do you still display the price?
No, in the ads, never. No.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in the retargeting ad,
Mm-hmm.
but in the initial PPE ad, the reason that I don't display the price is because price will generally deter people away from initially clicking it.
Yes.
And
Which
even
can
if they
slow
don't want to
retargeting
buy,
audience. Yeah.
yeah, even if they don't want to buy, I want them to click on it in one way or another. I want them to click on it, just like it, share, comment it, because the more people that click on your ad, the better performing your ad is and the lower cost it is for you. And so if displaying the price, it makes it, and over hundreds of thousands of dollars of testing, I've determined that, it's really that price will keep people from clicking on a PPE ad. Now that being said, a retargeting ad, I would display the price to say, it's only this for this much longer, right? Like, it's only $20 for the next 2 days, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
To get the sense of urgency. It's kind of a flipped mental state, and they've already been to the page and seen the price anyway. So
now I want to add a little note into that is when the reason why on some ads you want to add the price and why on T-shirt ads you don't want it is because of buyer intent. Okay, so right here during product marketing campaigns that are let's say high ticket or the product you're selling, you want only the most qualified people to click on your ad because your campaign is really dependent on getting those highly qualified people over to your sales page, like for example a high ticket product of $997. At that point you really want to deter people away, as Matt said. You want to just push those away that are not qualified by telling them, look, this is $997. Do not click if you're not highly interested. Basically, just that's what the ad copy is saying without saying it. Now on a T-shirt, because it's kind of an impulse buy, it just doesn't matter. You want them to click because the retargeting ads are going to convert like crazy, as we showed you, and it's where you're going to convert a ton of people, while the first click is just to get them over and see if they really want that T-shirt or they get that impulse to buy it. But at the first one, get that click there. On other product campaigns, yes, get the sale or get them with more buyer intent right away.
Yep. The price really, when it comes down to it, is going to be the third condition for them to buy. And I say that in the sense that you're targeting and making sure that you're in the right audience is going to be first. The second is going to be the shirt. Does it speak well to them? And then the third would be price. So as long as your price isn't outrageous, then it's not like it's a $40 shirt or something like that. Then that'll be a small condition for them versus everything else. So you ever switch? All right. So wait. Should we ever switch to website conversion ads or include right-hand side ads? I haven't seen a great success with right-hand side ads because there's just not that much real estate. If your shirt is simple enough to be shown and be able to be seen on a right-hand side ad, then yeah, you could definitely do a right-hand side ad. But generally, my shirts don't look all that great on it. The one thing I will say is that create its own ad for it. Do not do just the same ad, because your ad looks good on mobile and newsfeed doesn't mean it's going to look good on the right-hand side. So make sure that your right-hand side is optimized for that. You have a new image, a new headline, everything. But again, I don't do it. I just know that that's something needed to do. Website conversion ads, I'm testing more and more. If I switch from click to website to website conversion for my retargeting, I will let you guys know via the email list. But right now, I used to sell the heck out of website conversion ads, but they just kind of went away. So we'll keep going from here. So, Matt, do you ever use the Facebook, the Audience Insight tool within Facebook to market your own T-shirts, or do you use the Find Audience from outside of Facebook? John, I don't know. I mean, yes, I obviously use the Audience Insight tool. The course is called Audience Insight Tool Targeting System. So I'm not sure how that question, or maybe I'm missing something. Where do I go to find other companies like Teespring for other products? Other products. I mean, yeah. I would search your product and then crowdfunding in Google and see what comes up.
Yes.
So like like crowdfunding mug or mug crowdfunding. See if there's a site out there. I know there are. You know, it's just look into it a little bit. Garland, what up, man? He says, how would you niche down and this girl loves her husband niche other than married women? Well, see, the shirt doesn't say anything other than this girl loves her husband. So you can't really niche down in it because you're not in a niche, so to say, other than married women, like you said. So if you're going to say this nurse loves her husband, then you can hone down and layer down into the nurse niche and then do the married, you know, target the females who are married. That's the only really way to niche down in it. If you're going to do just married women, which is, I guess, a niche, but I don't see that as a niche. I see that as just kind of like a
demographic.
A demographic, exactly. So there's nothing really to niche down there. Engineering niche. Engineering niche is very broad. Lots of different types of engineer. I'm guessing you're probably focused on, trust me, I'm an engineer. So depending on what you're trying to sell, I'm going to go ahead and assume what you're trying to sell is like an engineering shirt. Let me make sure that I'm not on anything funky here. Good to go. So now we're in the page like tabs. You're going to get a quick understanding of our target audience. We have a 64%, which I really would have thought this would have been more towards the men, seeing how I came from an engineering school, and it was way more of a ratio towards men than this. So I would go under here and see interesting engineering. You know, this is going to be a tough one. What I would do, if you're going to try to sell like the Trust Me and I'm an Engineer shirt, I would take each form of engineering, hone down in those, and then target those towards that engineering shirt and see which one converts. What I mean by that is I would go into like architectural engineering, and I can do that. Architectural engineering. So now we're down to an audience of 350 to 400,000. We have very high affinity. Designing Maniac, these are going to be things that an architectural engineer is going to like. You know, be careful here that make sure that they are targeted. Looks like it's like about interesting things. So this is architectural engineering, architecture and design. That doesn't really have that good of affinity. You got some other things in here. I would go down each road of engineers and then see which one of those converts for your shirt. Point them all at the same place. Track the conversions through viral sales and through pixel fires. And then there you go. See which one works. I wouldn't just target engineers because it's going to get really, really distorted. Because, I mean, nurses is a big niche, but I would say that engineering is probably even just because there's so many different types of engineering. Explain those affinity stats one more time. Okay, so your affinity stat right here is, and I'm sorted on relevance. Well, it will explain this too. Relevance is a mixture of affinity ranking and audience size. So that's how you get your ranking here. Affinity is the likelihood that somebody who likes Design Maniac is to like architectural engineering more than the average Joe. So you're 54 times more likely to, if you like Design Maniac, you're 54 more times likely to like architectural engineering than the guy that doesn't like Design Maniac, like something else. So the reason that that's important is that we know that architectural engineer, in this case, when we're talking about the Trust Me, I'm an Engineer, is a type of engineering. So we've layered down to a point where we have a very high affinity ranking. We're getting longer tail keywords, and we're finding people that are honed in to this audience. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call here. Hit pause on that. There we go. Uh, Wow, this one insight just turned on a huge light for me. Awesome, Tracy. Explain the affinity stats again. A challenging one, a real estate agent looking for people who want to sell their home. How would you do the research? So you are a real estate agent looking for people who want to sell their home? How would you do the research? I think there's something, this isn't really a niche again. People that are looking to sell their home isn't a niche, but I think there is under behaviors.
Yeah, behaviors, exactly.
What is it? Residential profile, likely to move. So now you have 140,000 people in the continental United States of this age range. We can even do it to 18, even though I would target people that are older to have more money, who are likely, have a residential profile of likely to move. That's based off of data that Facebook gathers from third-party sources. Again, if you are a real estate agent, you don't need to if you are a real estate agent, you don't need to change anything else here, because you would be the one theoretically doing the ad. And you're looking for people who want to sell their home. Here are people that are likely to move. Cool? All right. Oh, and Steve-O left. Did all that and Steve-O left. Luis says he covered my running question. Awesome. Can you do search for aromatherapy niche? People who like to buy aromatherapy. Let's see if aromatherapy comes up.
I'm absolutely lost where we are with the questions.
I don't know. I'm not even like 2/3 of the way down. I feel bad, but we're getting so many questions. This is why we have another call.
Yes.
So we're already into some pretty good starting bases here. Now I got my different types of aromatherapy things, I guess. I'm going to have to do some research on this one. But I would go with, I would do this guy right here. See, he's got the highest affinity of the top 5 and the biggest size. This guy's got a lot of size, but he doesn't have a very good affinity ranking. So I would go ahead and hopefully this aura, because there we go. Bring that out. Now we have some great targets.
Boom.
This was in the last one. However, we are just making sure that it's check marked. I think it might have even been above 13 on the first one anyway. This looks like it's targeted. I'm not sure if that'll pop up in the ads manager though, since it seems to be in a different language. But here you go. I mean, it's the same thing over and over again. If you wanted to layer down even one more time, I'm not even sure if you could. Let's see if we could get quintessence. Nope. Barefoot. No. Yeah. This is where you're going to be at, and you're going to, holistic blends, bulk aromatherapy. You can keep going here. You don't have to stick in the top 5, but there's going to be some other ones, plant life, and a couple other things you can keep going down here, and then finding some stuff that are in that 13 above range. Gia herbs, and then pop up some other stuff in there, and try to, and if you know the brand and the big brands at all, you can do that into the audience insight tool as well and try to find those. Okay, so let's keep going. Did you learn all these strategies? I don't know if you hit the keyboard there, Deborah, or what happened there. Yes, I learned all these strategies. Do you use Audience Intersect? If so, how? I do not. Matt and Damien plus Don has this Facebook covered. I have a 2-day seminar here in Northern California. That would be a pretty sick conference. Matt, Damien, and Don. We just need to get Damien away from the islands for a little bit.
I was
out in Vegas with Don. Yeah, you need to come out to Vegas with Don and I.
Yeah, man. gotta figure this out now. It's just figuring out as well with the visa, and that's just I'm so lazy for that now. Right? But I'll make it happen.
Yeah. Does it make sense to always start your ad campaign on Mondays and pause it on weekends? No. Do not pause on weekends. Weekends are my biggest days, and generally the biggest days for anybody because people are off work. As far as Mondays, I do start a lot of ads on Mondays to test. Mondays generally do not convert all the greatest, so I don't want to have big spend on there if possible. But that being said, I've had Mondays that are plenty big as well. So, yeah. Looks like Deborah is just hitting the keyboard. Not sure what's going on there. Can you try the yoga niche? Yeah. I think this will be the last interest that we try here. Try to figure out anything else. Yoga.
That would be interesting because all my students and even all the tests we've done, it's failed miserably with yoga.
Well, here's the thing. My wife does yoga, and so I've met her friends that do yoga. If you're trying to sell a T-shirt to a yoga person, you're barking up the wrong alley. They don't wear T-shirts to go to yoga. They got all of this, just like in the running niche. They got all this special clothing for it. And so they're not gonna wear it around. But I've seen a couple shirts that have done pretty well. So you can get it but it's got to be good. It can't just be a keep calm, do yoga. It's got to be something here. So let me see here. Let's go ahead and start our method. We got yoga in our channel here. A quick insight to this. 72% of it are women. I would probably, we haven't talked about this, but I would go ahead and probably do something specific to the gender based off that amount, where 72% of it, not including likes by association, are women anyway. So now we've kind of cleaned up what was in there. You can see some weird things come in, like Amazon.com/fashion. There's still 10 to 15 million people in this niche. So we have a lot of people that maybe try yoga, bought a yoga shirt, got thrown into this niche. So let's go ahead and take yoga journal. Perfect. You can see that it automatically obeys the rule, right? I take the 5 of the top 5. What's the top affinity ranking? You got yoga journal. So let's go ahead and do yoga journal. Go ahead and remove yoga. We've upped our ranking here a little bit, but we could still do probably a little better. I'm going to go ahead and Yoga International. Well, that's great. I'm worried what that would show us if we're targeting the United States, but we can try it. Yoga Inter. Whoa, there you go. So we've narrowed down. Yoga International, sorry. Yoga Journal is on there again, but again, it's just about checking the boxes and making sure the affinity ranking is there. You got Yoga Earth, Yogi Times. Make sure that doesn't get...
A yogi is somebody that does yoga, so it should be.
Oh, well, there you go. That's why I got you, Damien. You're in all the niches that I don't understand. Your crazy diets and your yoga and your surfing.
Yoga stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So, Yoga Alliance. We got tons of stuff here for you to go after, and it's a great amount of affinity for you to do. This is being recorded. We will send it out as soon as possible. You can hear my voice already going. Too bad I have a 2-hour webinar later today to do. I came in late. If you see 20 or 30 pages within the Audience Insights tool with 13 of us affinity ranking. So John has a good question here. So, and I got this a lot on the support test as well. So if you see more, and you can see that all these people have very strong affinity. There's barely anything that doesn't have a strong affinity on here, right? The thing that's going to happen here, though, is that I wouldn't add yoga, by the way, but the thing that's going to happen here is eventually because you're sorted on relevance and you're based off of audience size and affinity, eventually you're going to be adding interest in here to a point where no more people can be added. And once you hit that point, you want to stop. The reason for that, and if you're not growing your audience by 20 here, 30,000 here, maybe you find a good one and get a jump of 100,000 or something like that. The reason that you don't want to continue to go is that you're going to get more of a likelihood of a like by association being thrown into your ad set. And that's where your ad performance will go down. So if you're adding interest in here, like boom, I'm going to add these, and all of a sudden Yoga Glow doesn't add anybody to it, you can try a few more of these, but eventually you're not going to be able to add anybody. And you don't want to just keep going here and adding interest that don't give your audience size a boost. So because these people will overlap each other because they're so targeted. Because the reason that these affinities are so high is that these are the people that you want to target. And a guy that likes Yoga Alliance is going to like Yogis Anonymous, if I can talk. So that's the that's where you go. Would it be a good idea to get your Facebook target audience and send them to one of your Amazon products? Of course. As long as it's yours. I don't think the affiliate program's good. So somebody said a Facebook user like us. I'm going to throw this in there real quick. John Loomer Digital is all about some people who are just like us. This is where I would start, but I would start researching, John Loomer. Facebook for Business is a possible website for you to do. These are the people that like and understand and use Facebook marketers. So John wasn't a great one, I just assumed, but you could target him. He's in the audience as I told, and that would give you 26,000 people. And then Facebook for Business, obviously, if you're an ads manager course, then that would be a good one to go for. When do you predict sales will pick up again? Sales at the end of the year here are always difficult. I know people that are still killing it. We were doing great. We're still doing it, but we're downsizing our efforts to a particular website, and we're going to start building our own store. And so in doing so, I wanted to focus my majority of my team elsewhere and not on spending money. And I think, Damon, you're doing a similar path.
Yes.
This is a great time to do it because people just spent a ton of money on Christmas. And so the disposable income pool for each household is a little lower than normally.
Yes, I focus on team building, team training, envisioning the new goals and so on, and that's kind of what we're working on now as well.
Okay, so Marcus is saying, isn't there much more legal stuff you have to put onto Facebook about than in the U.S.? Damien, can you comment?
Marcus, say that question because I'm still kind of finding. You say that question again?
I'm not sure what he's going for, but it says, isn't there much more legal stuff you have to put onto Facebook about than in the U.S.? Damien, can you comment? Marcus, if you're still on, it looks like you are. Please make just like a clarification statement to Damien, yes. And it'll show up in the bottom. Someone asked about Facebook marketers. Here's one. I'll send you a short video. Okay. All right, cool. Is the audience Insight tool working for you all? I only now have it on one of my accounts. It worked on the other one accounts before. Now it disappeared. It is. I've been using it, and Damien uses it constantly. And if your other accounts don't have it, I would make sure that you follow what Damien was saying about being located in the United States and having your account sent to English US. Can you talk about budgeting and the results of a campaign where you paid X to Facebook and your ad and how you paid them? We talked about that, Heather. I think, I was talking about if you spend your test budget you can get a result. Hopefully, if you spent $20, you sold 4 shirts, making yourself a profit of $40 on your $20 to spend. These are the kinds of things that we look for to make sure that we're profitable. And then if we haven't made any conversions, we're going to be looking at cost per engagement, making sure that we're at that 10 cent or below like we talked about in the course. We're targeting European audiences. That is Cheeky Marcus. Oh. I think Marcus's question was, isn't there much more stuff you have to put in the about, maybe on your page, than when you're targeting you? I don't know. Marcus, if you could just send us a clarification on that. Did you shut off your ad during a day or just run it for 24 hours? We have started to turn it off in the morning, U.S. time, so like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then pick it back up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I used to just run it 24 hours too and get mixed results. And we're going to start wrapping up here, guys. Over 9 million on that group and nearly 43,000 talking about it. That is huge engagement. Yep. Selling things on New Year's, not good time, right? Maybe we got a better ROI. See, this is people talk about this all the time. If sales are slow, it all depends on what you're selling, who you're selling to, what platform you're selling on, because not everybody's the same. So, there's people that I know that run Shopify stores that are doing very well right now, while people on Teespring are suffering, and people on Viral Style are suffering, and so on and so forth. So it's a good time. People still sell. It's just that Christmas season in the United States is now over. People have that disposable income down, and their minds have shifted elsewhere other than buying on an impulse right now. So it'll be fine. The new year will pick up. January to date is still my biggest. January 2014 is still my biggest month. And so I'm excited about what's coming. You guys should be too.
Here's a question, Matt, that I think is pretty important that many people might have is, using the audience insight method, do you group all your interests together or do you split them up and split test them?
I do not split test them. I group them together. The reason for that is that I know, using this affinity ranking, that they're all very targeted. When you're split testing interests, the reason that people are doing that is because they don't know that they're targeted or not. But if you go through this and you find targeted interests, you'll find that that whole mystery gap is less likely. I talked about in the pre-sales video, where your ad's doing really, really well and then all of a sudden drops off a cliff. Well, it's because it's going through the people in a different interest that isn't targeted. But if you're targeted and you prove that to yourself, then there's no reason to split test your interest.
Good. So Eric, there you go. He was asking it like 4 or 5 times at the end. He was like, no, I'm not going to get my question because there are a lot of them still coming in. So
somebody raising and unraising their hand real quick. Yeah. Hold on. Okay. So weight loss for older people, I would just go through the weight loss list. Weight loss, finding, weight loss magazines, and then targeting older people. I'm sure there's a magazine out there for weight loss for older people. If not, we should all start pulling our money together to create a magazine for weight loss for older people. How do you join Viral Style? I do not know if it's available to the public right now. I think we're cool here. I start wrapping up. I appreciate you guys taking the time and coming on the call. And we have another one next week. The time is going to have to change. We're doing it in the afternoon, Tuesday afternoon next week.
Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, so guys mark that on the calendar already. Tuesday next week at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep. So look forward to talking to you guys more. Sorry if we couldn't get to your question today, but there has been an unbelievable amount of response. So that is why we're doing another call here. That's why we're going to do another one, because you save those questions.
There is a 90% attentive rate, so you guys have been paying attention. I love that a lot. So that is
that's great.
Tells me a lot about you guys. So you're definitely working here on the dream right here and putting that time and effort into it.
Okay, so I like to do this at the call, and I've already seen the people have already taken the time to do it. So now that we're wrapping up, did you learn something today? Give me a big yes in the chat box before you leave. Has it been worthwhile for you? You can hear my voice going. I had a busy weekend up watching the Packers and screaming at the top of my lungs. And so thank you for sticking with me. Cool. Everybody's saying yes. Great webinar. Cool. Really appreciate it. Tons of notes. I'm going to start rendering this, and then I will upload it into the members area. And then we're going to have a call next week, like I said. And I'll email you guys all out and let you know when the replay is available. So cool. Thank you guys very much. Thank you again for buying the AI targeting system and trusting us to help guide you to success. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys, and have a great one. Yes.
Take care.
Bye-bye.